Hello, comrades. Those who adhere to Marxian principles are against the perverse act of revisionism, i.e., distorting the theories of Marx, Engels, Lenin, and other significant figures in Marxist history and theory so that they become nothing more than bourgeois idealism. Examples of revisionism would be something such as the policies enacted by Nikita Khrushchev or Mikhail Gorbachev, which of course led to the fall of the Soviet Union. Revisionism in the modern age, unfortunately, still holds prominence. In the United States, I would say a big part of this would have to be because of Bernie Sanders in the 2016 presidential election. People thought that if they supported Bernie, that made them a socialist. A lot of people declare themselves to be Democratic Socialists because they've only been fed the rhetoric of Bernie Sanders. For one, as we all know, Sanders is nothing more than a social democrat. And secondly, even if these people were actual democratic socialists rather than just pseudo-socialists that only know about free stuff, they would still only be promoting revisionism. Democratic socialism is revisionism in the sense that it reduces class struggle in the modern age to nothing more than engaging in bourgeois politics. The version of revolution promoted by democratic socialism is simply having people run for offices and engage in the standard voting practice as a means of instituting a socialist government. This form of socialism is ultimately an idea based on reformism. Those who follow this school of thought believe that changes can be made to the capitalist system from within the capitalist system itself. The problem with this is that trying to establish socialism only through democratic means is a movement of impotence. Attempting to establish socialism via government reformism won't work due to the fact that bourgeois class bias will consistently work to block out any policies that are even slightly radical. A classless, stateless society can't be reached without actually replacing the bourgeois government with a socialist one. The idea of democratic socialism doesn't acknowledge the necessity of violent revolution as a means of overthrowing the ruling class as outlined by Marx, Engels, Lenin, and so on.
Have these gentlemen ever seen a revolution? A revolution is certainly the most authoritarian thing there is. It is the act whereby one part of the population imposes its will upon the other part by means of rifles, bayonets, and cannon authoritarian means. If such there be at all, and if the victorious party does not want to have fought in vain, it must maintain this rule by means of the terror which its arms inspire in the reactionists. Would the Paris Commune have lasted a single day if it had not made use of this authority of the armed people against the bourgeois? Should we not, on the contrary, reproach it for not having used it freely enough? Friedrich Engels. On authority. The communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communist revolution. Karl Marx. The Communist Manifesto. A revolutionary class cannot but wish for the defeat of its government in a reactionary war. Vladimir Lenin. Socialism and war. No political party can possibly lead a great revolutionary movement to victory unless it possesses revolutionary theory and knowledge of history and has a profound grasp of the practical movement. Mao Zedong. The role of the Chinese Communist Party in the national war.
Relying on a pre-established system based off of bourgeois politics as a means of reaching socialism is revisionist bullshit. Ignoring the necessity of a vanguard party and for the violent overthrow of the ruling class is revisionist bullshit. Democratic socialism is revisionist bullshit. I'm Jymee Casual, fuck you and bye.